Good evening. This is May 8th, and this is the Water Resources Committee. I'm the chair, Les Fox, and I'm going to do a roll call vote to see if we have a quorum. Dave McKiernan,
McKiernan present.
Brian Clemens,
Present.
Stephen Schmidt,
Present.
and Janet Keating Connolly.
Present.
Very good. And we are missing right now, we're missing Brian Lynch.
And John.
And John. But this is a quorum. So why don't we can get started with some of the easy stuff. The first thing is to review and approve the minutes of April 23rd, which you all should have received by now.
Mhm.
Thanks again to Brian Clemens for doing the minutes. I've had a chance to look at them. Is anyone, if anyone would like to move them, now would be a good time, and then we can discuss any corrections or anything.
So moved.
Second.
The second was Dave, was it?
Yep. I have no, I reviewed them. I have no comments.
Anybody else have comments or corrections?
I did have some questions about item number 2. So review and status of RFP.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding issues were no provision for electronic submittals. Okay. No scope of work. Okay. Some internet links not working. I tested all of the links that were in the original RFP and they worked fine. So is there some other, I'm not sure that's a true statement. That's all. Maybe we discussed it and that's fine. But I guess I'm just conveying that the addresses in the draft RFP and then the one that just got revised collectively as a group do work.
Did you check those during the meeting?
Did I checked them before the meeting.
Okay. So the version we were reviewing, they all worked.
The version, well, yes, but I also checked the additions we made as part of the last meeting we had as part of that revision process. We're all set with links, I guess. I just wanted to share that. And I didn't know, I don't recall us discussing that it wasn't working.
At, Janet, is I wasn't aware that the version we were looking at had the links checked. What the minutes have to report is the version we were looking at. So if we were looking at a version that had corrected links or working links, that's fine. But if they got corrected later or were verified later, then that comment would stand.
It's fine. If it was discussed, then that's fine. I don't recall us discussing that, but that's okay. Inconsistent reference requirements. I don't know what that means.
We, in the RFP, we said references, in one place we said references had to be Massachusetts municipalities. And then
you mean like recommended previous customers, that's what you mean?
Yeah, but they were called, they were referred to as references.
Okay. All right.
By the way, folks, I hate to tell you, I'm suffering from short-term memory loss. Did we actually call us to order? I took the roll, but I don't think I did.
I thought you did. You announced who you.
Pretty sure you did.
Do it now.
I did call your name, so I established we have a quorum, but I don't know if I called you. I called the meeting to order. So consider the meeting called to order at, say, I don't know, 7:35.
I got in at 7:33 when you started recording.
Okay, there you go.
And Brian Lynch has joined us.
And Brian is here now.
Yeah, it took me a while to get here from the fire station.
Yeah, I had the shorter drive. You were just going over the minutes from April 23rd.
All right. In this last sentence in number 2, it says Fox reported that the planning board may submit comments on their own. Is this related to the RFP? the sentence?
No, on the EIR.
Right, so that goes
Ah.
down to 4.
Correct.
Okay.
Although
That's it.
they could give us comments on that, and I think way back
Well,
in
they
the
had a chance though. Yeah.
beginning, they did provide some comments, I think,
Mhm.
long time ago. But that sentence really applied to the EIR letter.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct there.
Okay. Those are my only comments.
Anybody else?
Hmm.
So if the clerk will accept those emendations and approve the minutes as amended, I'll take a roll call vote. Dave,
McCann and I.
Brian Clemens,
Aye.
Stephen Schmidt,
Aye.
Janet Keating Connolly,
Aye.
and Brian Lynch is here. He can vote.
Aye.
And Fox votes aye. Great. Okay. The next thing is to discuss the status of the RFP, the wonderful RFP that is now so good. It's hard to believe you could still find things to pick on, but we're good at that.
Well,
Brian,
I must say that up until now, every time I have gone through with it, I have found things that I think are going to be very confusing to a consultant. And so that was the basis of the latest revisions.
It's a test.
Yeah.
They have to pass the test.
They have to what?
Pass the test.
If they can't figure it out, we don't want them.
right. Well, Janet did us great service by producing a clean copy that was actually readable and you can actually get through it. And that Brian in particular noted some disconnects and some things that we ought to address. So we'll talk about a little bit about that in a minute. But I think it's in pretty good shape. I mean, we've got a very short list of things that we think need to be cleaned up, and they don't necessarily involve much more than talking to Rajan and Mike. And by the way, I saw Mike at the meeting in the fire station earlier this evening, and I said to him, we're going to wrap this language up tonight. Do you think there's any need to go back to council? He said, absolutely not. He feels comfortable proceeding on the basis of what he knows and it's already been told by council. So there's a couple of things in the pack. I think I sent it all to you.
Les,
Oh, sorry.
I guess not to hijack the agenda, but the original purpose of this meeting was to review the letter that was going to be sent to MIPA, right? And I think what happened in the last meeting was we put a lot of effort into the RFP conversation, and then we ran out of gas when it came to talking about the EIR. Right. And so would it be, where maybe that's a shorter, simpler thing to discuss? Would be some value to kind of getting that done when we're fresh?
Absolutely. We can take that out of order. I mean, but they both are important and hopefully will be short. But why don't we take that as a suggestion from Janet to discuss the EIR letter? That's fine with me.
I would suggest first thing that we acknowledge the memorandum from Weston and Sampson that seems to address a lot of things, including new permits.
Well, a lot has happened since that came out. It came out on Monday, but a lot has happened since then. Les and I have spoken with DEP and Weston and Sampson. And at first, Weston and Sampson didn't want us to submit any technical information or any information on alternatives. Although Kevin McKinnon, the Weston and Sampson guy, was going to contact DCR and see if the alternatives would be helpful to them. In the meantime, let's talk to Mariel Stone at DEP, and she said she had talked to DCR, and DCR told her that alternatives would be helpful.
That's right. She called me to tell me that.
I spoke to Kevin this afternoon and told him that, and he was aware of it somehow. So bottom line is they want us to discuss alternatives that we have looked at, but still not to discuss technical issues.
Well, I mean, I
Things we
think
know.
if you read the memorandum that I received from Les, Weston and Sampson has already addressed the well and the alternatives that we examined in that document.
They have in a sense, but they would still welcome the town chiming in on that topic. I spoke to Kevin as well.
Okay.
Marielle has been talking to DCR. I guess the message I get from her is that there are new folks on board at DCR that may not have all the history. So it would be good to make sure everyone has that. By the way, I had a bunch of stuff printed out and I cannot find it. What happened to it? Very discouraging. But let me tell you. So why that letter from Kevin McKinnon at Weston and Sampson is an amendment to the MIPA filing.
Yep.
Why did he have to do that? It says why he had to write in the letter itself. Fish and Wildlife, Natural Heritage concluded based upon their review of all the material that this will amount to a taking of a rare species that's on the list, the Massachusetts list of endangered species. So since that's the case, that means that Weston and Sampson cannot proceed with a simpler permitting process using the determination of insignificance for innovation transfer. So they now have to go for a full innovation transfer permit or license. I'm not sure what the correct term is. So that's what this is all about. So he wrote what he did, and I'd like to attribute to you as material relative to that very issue, which means they are now going to be putting together more material related to going for an innovation transfer permit. That is the most recent hiccup. They had to provide their input on May 10th as well, which they already have. So they issued it on Monday. But clocks are ticking all around. So that's why that happened. That's why we have the letter or the memo from Weston and Sampson addressed to the secretary.
Yes. I guess the other concern I have is, did they address the issue of the impact on delays if it affects the SRS funding?
My understanding is that Mario believes that they all understand how important and crucial this project is and that timing is important. Littleton did get an extension for the deadline that's now pushed to October for applying for the funding, but that's, I think, the absolute deadline, as I understand it.
That was what was reported before at another meeting I was at, and
yeah,
I'm a little concerned.
Well, Littleton's concerned too. What Kevin told me was that they were planning to submit an SRF application for the next round as well, in case this falls through.
It would be too bad to lose this one.
I don't think
If they
DEP
would.
is going to give up on it. I mean, they're the ones who pushed this thing so hard to begin with.
Yes. I'm irritated that I can't find stuff I printed out earlier. Oh, there it is. It all got stapled together. I hate it when that happens. Yeah. So I think all we want to do is continue to do what we've been doing. Provide our comments to the EIR. It seems I asked Marielle that specific question. First of all, this amendment came out on Monday, May 6th, the one that Kevin sent around, or I sent around that Kevin had distributed, May 6th.
Yep.
And their comments are due on May 10th. Janet, I don't know what the planning board is doing. Initially, I asked Mark about that. He said the planning board would do their own thing with respect to responding to the EIR, and I don't know whether they're aware of this amendment or what they've actually done on responding to the EIR. Are they planning to provide a letter? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know if they're aware of what came out on Monday, and if they're submitting a letter as a board.
But the board won't be able to meet since Monday and this due
Right.
date, right? So
Right. So it'll be,
no letter, right? I guess.
well, it was on the agenda though, to discuss it
Wasn't that last week?
prior to the supplement coming out. That's right.
Yeah, right.
It was, right.
And they decided to submit a letter at that point, do you know?
No, I can check, can ask.
Well, at any rate, we just proceed and do what we need to do. I know way back when I floated the idea of seeing if the town administrator would be willing to write a letter on behalf of the town, including both boards, and Mark was pretty clear. The planning board's an elected board, they'll do their own thing, and that's fine. That's actually right. We are a sub board, if you will, of the select board, which is another elected board. So our letter goes in on behalf of us, and Mike would be very happy to write a letter based upon our input for what he will sign. I don't know if you remember, but Carter did the same thing when we supported going for the SRF application. He sent it in on behalf of the town. So that's the story on the amendment. My reading is it doesn't change really anything we need to do to provide our input to the EIR letter. Unless someone saw something that caught their attention, I don't think it changes anything that we need to do or should do with respect to our letter. I specifically asked Marielle, should we address any components in the EIR, in the addendum of the MIPA filing in our letter? And she said, it's up to us. Does anybody have any strong feelings about that one way or the other? I like to keep it simple. So,
Yeah.
Well, there were some technical things which we're not supposed to be addressing.
yeah.
My feeling was that the EIR and the supplemental information had worded some things that seemed to miss opportunities to highlight the benefits of the project, or seem to overstate some of the impacts of the project. But we're not going to address those because those are technical issues. I'll give you one example. Out of the 65,000 gallons per day that Littleton is providing to Boxborough, the interbasin transfer application is saying that 60,000 of those are the interbasin transfer of leaving the Merrimack River Basin and going into the Siwasko River Basin. And I did a calculation on that, and I think it's more like 20%. And yet they want their interbasin transfer application to be for most of that water. And the reason is they don't want to amend the Interbasin Transfer Act application further down the road. But I felt that sort of hurt our case, because that says that water would not be returned to the area where it's being withdrawn from, down on Taylor Street. And so I thought that was making our case worse. But that's a permitting decision from the LWD team, and it's not for us to question that.
I kind of wondered about that too, because most of that water is coming from Beaver Brook, and very little is moving across the line to Elizabeth. And Beaver Brook is in the Merrimack Basin.
Right. I came up with about 20% of the water would be going into the Elizabeth Brook.
Yeah.
Because you've got one of the three condominium complexes is there, and 5 of the 6 public water systems are in the Elizabeth Brook drainage area.
Yeah, so I don't.
That's all right. It leaves more water available to go across the bridge. So there's a benefit to the future.
Yeah. So that's the background on the EIR letter, and we had drafted what you saw that I sent around before this amended MIPA filing came out. So that's the context, but I don't think there's any need to consider the amended filing when we look to finalize our letter. It's interesting. The letter gets addressed to Jennifer Hughes. I don't know how all the characters line up, but she's the deputy director at Mass Environmental Policy Act office, the MIPA office. We're going to be sending our letter to Tepper, who is the EEOA secretary, correct?
I don't think Jennifer Hughes is assistant director. She's one of the.
No, she says
analysts.
deputy director, Mass Environmental Policy Act. So, but Tepper's higher up the food chain, right?
Yeah, it's standard practice to address these to the head of EEA, which is Rebecca.
Yeah.
But particularly since we do this by email now, it's also become standard practice to submit it directly to the MIPA analyst that's reviewing it.
Yeah, and by the way, before we finish this whole topic, at some point when we agree on our letter, I need to make sure that we give Mike the correct email addresses to send the material to. Has anybody actually nailed that down for sure and knows what it is?
Well, it's in the most recent version of the letter.
It is. I didn't see any email addresses in there.
Jennifer Hughes is added. This would be the letter that I sent to you at 7 o'clock tonight, Les.
No, I'm talking about what to address for our letter to Rebecca Tepper.
Right. The letter I sent, the version I sent you at 7 o'clock tonight.
Well, I'll have to look for it. So we send it to Tepper, but attention, Jennifer Hughes again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. I didn't see that. I was tied up elsewhere at 7 o'clock. Okay. So why don't we get right into the letter then? As Jenna pointed out, that was the main reason for having this meeting at this time. And let's take care of that then. So did everybody have a chance to look at what I sent earlier? And I can also put it up on the screen now. I'll do a little screen sharing if I can manage to do that.
Well, Les, we need to go to the most recent version that I just sent you.
Well, let me make sure I'm looking at the right thing. You sent something at 7 and you sent something at 7:15.
Would have been 7:15.
Thanks to the wonderful Gmail system, there's probably better ways to do this, but I have to go to a 2-step process to download it to my downloads folder. Then I can do stuff with it.
Why don't I do the screen share then?
Yeah, if you got it, why don't you do it, Brian? Let me make you a co-host. Okay, you should be able to screen share now. I don't know whether did you send that to other folks, Brian, or should I send that out later? I didn't notice.
I just sent it to you.
Okay.
I didn't know what. All right, so if I do screen share, I'm going to share. Can everybody see this letter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is there's a brief discussion of how this came about. And then on the date here, this little thing in brackets here, this is a note from Mike and Rajan that this thing has to go out by the 10th. So here's the address. Attention to Jennifer Hughes. And then this first paragraph is the sort of the opening statement about how we support this project. This is essentially the same as in previous versions. The next section I called Boxborough's role in the project. I know at our last meeting, John thought this ought to be a one-page letter, basically just saying Boxborough, this is an important project to Boxborough. So I'm thinking that we might want to limit the discussion to Boxborough's involvement in the project. So there's a little bit of background here about Boxborough not having a municipal water system and where our water comes from. Les had provided this information about who is served by these systems in the western part of town, why they're doing this.
One comment, you might want to say that Boxborough does not have a town-wide municipal water system.
Does not have what?
We town-wide or something. We do have the well at the school, and the fire station, and the police station.
Yeah, but I don't think that really constituted. Does that really constitute a municipal water supply system?
It's a public water supply, but it's not a municipal water system. So I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I made sure that word system was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's municipal, but it's not really a system. This paragraph here is still a little bit unclear as to what the problem is, and I mean we do get into that further down, and maybe there should be a sentence here that says maybe we can take out. Because there were more than just water quality issues. There were issues about proximity to wastewater discharges that led to
I think
this
you
whole
just have
thing.
to say there's issues with short circuiting of water withdrawal and wastewater disposal.
Yeah, in the next section, I said it was issues with proximity of,
Yeah, well, that makes a complication trying to solve the problem by putting new wells in, but primarily it is a water quality issue right now.
Well, that's more like a potential water quality issue. I mean, they don't really have. That's a potential water quality issue. It's not the kind of water quality issue like high PFAS levels, which are occurring. See what you think when we get to the next section. See if you think that we need to expand on that. And then I said in 2018, we began working with DEP, Mass DOT, and the public water system owners to look at solutions in the area. However, we were unable to develop a municipal water system to address these problems. And then Littleton proposed their well, and that became the best solution. I took out this business about presentations. I don't, maybe this belongs in here.
Is that a
Not sure
good
where that
place
came
to,
from. That wasn't in the last draft I saw. I don't think.
is that paragraph a good place to mention that the Littleton well will take water out of the Boxborough aquifer?
No, I don't think that's a good place to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. We did have that comment in there about presentations to the affected businesses and residents.
Mhm.
Is
Just
it
saying we
important to
talked.
mention that here?
Well, it's part of the background. We've talked about it. You know, it's in the public domain. I don't know.
But I mean, do you talk about
What
what
do
the
people
results
think?
were of those presentations? It's one thing to put it in if you have results from it. I'm just trying to think.
It's not results. It's communicating to the residents and the businesses what the problem is. And that's what that was about.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we're trying to show what we've done to try to address the problem, you know, over the years.
Okay.
Marielle thought it was important to cite the work done by the WPI folks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think so. If you've done those presentations, I think the sentence about the effort, it's like as a result of these presentations, we've received strong support from both Boxborough residents and Boxborough businesses, right?
We could say that because that's true.
Right. I think that adds some weight to what you did.
Yeah, Brian, you want to make that addition there that John was just suggesting?
I would just say where the sentence that starts with the effort, I said, as a result of this, we have received strong support from both the business community and the affected residents.
Are we sure that was the reason for their strong support?
As opposed to what?
Well, I thought, if they viewed that they're going to get clean drinking water, and I mean, the other alternative for them is, I don't even know if it's affordable, quite frankly, right? Based on their situation.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I mean, most of them are now drinking bottled water supplied by the PWS. I mean, when we had those webinars that we asked for comments, I got a lot of mail from people on the Codman Swanson area and some businesses as well.
Right.
Yeah, but we can't take credit for Littleton supporting it.
No,
Right,
we can't take
this right here. As a result of these efforts, the project has the support of what? Residents?
Yeah, both the business community and local residents. Now, do we want them to note that this is, I'm trying to remember the kind of designation this area has. There's a designation. What's it, Brian?
Put local residents in the environmental justice area.
That's it, exactly.
Actually, the whole town's an environmental justice here, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a separate issue. I can't just throw it into that sentence.
Well, it's,
You could say the support of local residents and business. Oh,
well, they
project
are in
will
the
have a-
environmental justice area.
Yeah, but this isn't the way to take credit for it. About this.
We,
And the only reason I'd like to put that in there, because I think that that has a certain amount of weight
Oh, yeah.
with what they'll allow. I mean, yeah, I think it's important.
How does that look?
Can we say, the town notes as well that the project will provide clean drinking water to an environmental justice community in our town? It's much more
The whole
direct.
the whole town is an environmental justice
Right,
community.
right, and but so what? I mean, it's less vague, right? What are the benefits of the project? Clean drinking water. Just say they're going to get clean drinking water. Um, just to have more impact.
All right, so how would you suggest changing this?
The town has that the pro- the the project will deliver clean drinking water to an environmental justice community.
Yeah, but don't you have to sort of lead off by saying that Foxborough is an environmental justice community?
That's not implied by the previous sentence.
Wouldn't it be better to state that?
Well, I'm just trying to keep it short. I'm just trying to find ways to shorten up the language, that's all.
Yeah, the
We
impacted
could say
area.
in town. If you say the proposed project will provide clean drinking water to an environmental justice community in our town.
Yeah, and
Well, it's not an environmental justice community in our town because the entire town is an environmental justice community.
yeah, just say it's to an
How about
environmental justice community.
as an environmental justice community, Boxborough will benefit significantly from this project.
That covers it.
I still want to say what the benefit is, which is clean drinking water, rather than a benefit.
From this project, which will provide clean drinking water.
Benefit from the clean drinking water provided by the project.
I'm not liking this.
Yeah.
What did you want to do here, John?
I just said, as an environmental justice community, this project which will provide, I'm trying to think, we said, this project will provide the benefit of clean drinking water to
Affected residents and businesses.
the affected residences. This project will provide clean drinking water to the affected residences.
Well, it's a little backwards now, though. Gotta turn that phrase around.
Okay, well, we got the words. We just have to figure out the
Yeah.
order, right?
What are you suggesting?
Just say
Russ?
that. Just say the project will provide clean drinking water to the affected residents in an environmental justice community.
In our environmental justice community,
Yeah.
right?
Just the fact that it happens to be the whole town, we don't necessarily have to say that. I mean, ultimately, if we extend it out, it will provide benefits to more people. But this is the first
Well,
step.
we started working on this. This part of Boxborough was an environmental justice community, but not the entire town was.
Yeah, but that all
That's-
changed. That changed.
Yeah, but Brian's right. It started there.
Right. But now, if you look at the EJ map, it's the whole town.
Okay.
Unless I looked, unless someone knows
Actually,
different.
the original EJ community went almost to Middle Road. It included west of 495, but it went almost to Middle Road.
Yeah, but now there are 4 pieces in Boxborough, and they're all an EJ, I think. The last time I looked. Unless somebody knows different.
Okay, so Brian, we're just gonna start the sentence with this project and all that,
Yeah.
right?
That's what you want to do. That's okay. I think it's a little odd to throw this in without introducing the fact that Boxborough is an environmental justice community, but so be it.
Well,
Um,
we're implying that by the
I'm not
statement.
sticking around till 11:54 tonight, by the way.
so just to save some words, can instead of saying in that paragraph, local residents and the business community, can we just say has the support of residences and businesses in Boxborough? Kind of wordy for no reason. Of course they're local. They're local to what? Right? Residences, businesses in Boxborough.
How about residents and businesses?
Yep. And then before we leave it, and I know this is wordsmithing, but the definition of the acronym PWS, I think we shouldn't do PWSSs. It makes it hard, the document hard to read when you say do odd acronyms. PWSs. There's 2 S's in the previous paragraph. Since it's defined early on as public water systems, I think it's okay just to have PWS, even if it's, I think it just makes it easier to read. It found it really hard to read when I saw SS. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Brian, going back to that, with the change you just made for Janet, you need in Boxborough, I think.
I'm sorry, where?
Back to that sentence, it says has the support of residences and businesses in Boxbow?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then as far as these milestones go, like going back to what I said, I wanted to focus on what Boxborough has done.
Well, wait a minute. We don't have to just talk about what we've done. This point of this thing is to say how important the project is. We're not claiming we did everything, but you could say milestones demonstrating support for the project or the importance of the project include blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's appropriate for us to talk about what Littleton did at town meeting.
Why not? It's a fact of life in this project that Littleton did support the project, and this is going to benefit us. I don't know why it's a problem.
And without
Any
the
other
support of town meeting from Littleton, it wouldn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the point is to say that this project has the support, from the town of Littleton as well as the town of Boxborough. You don't, take out the demonstrating Boxborough, but demonstrating, the importance of the project and the breadth of support or something like that. I don't think you want to downplay the fact that Littleton's put a lot of chits on the line here.
Yeah, but we could also be repeating a lot of stuff that has already been said, and this is our opportunity to give MIPA Boxborough's side of things.
Well, I
That's
wouldn't
really-
presume that. I wouldn't presume that
really
the
what
people
we're doing.
reading this would necessarily remember all that. Do you think they would necessarily?
That's their job.
Well, then they should know everything. Why do we tell them anything?
I think some of it would be beneficial just to reinforce that we are working together with Littleton by talking about some of these things, and that there's strong support together.
Yeah, I would change the introductory sentence to say some milestones demonstrating commitment to the project, and don't claim it's all us. Demonstrating.
All right, so I've said the town's commitment to the project.
We'll change that because you're right. The Littleton town meeting voted the money, but it's
Well,
a
you
commitment
could say, well, are we collaborating with Littleton or no? I mean, how
Sure
would
we
you
are.
describe it? So some milestones demonstrating the town's collaboration with Littleton and commitment to
just
the project.
demonstrating the support.
I think you need to say Littleton somewhere in there because the first sentence is going to be Littleton. Number one is Littleton. So
Well, I said
Yeah.
towns.
right, but what towns? Do we know from the previous paragraph that we're talking about Littleton and Boxborough?
No, just take out towns demonstrating support to the project
Okay.
or commitments of the project. We got Littleton chiming in. We got Mass DOT kicking in money. Our own select boards entered into an IMA.
Brian, I think that's good.
As like commitment of Littleton and Boxborough.
Well, the way you have it is fine. Alphabetical.
Yeah, that's good, Brian.
So we'll take out this business about what's Boxborough's role because we're expanding.
That's good.
Okay. And then this is what the discussion of, I'm calling this previous evaluation of alternatives. And the idea here is to let them know that we, even before the 2008 feasibility study, we had looked at some options. And one of the things that Kevin picked up on was, did any of our test wells take place in the Sowasco River Basin? Because he felt that that would have been important. I'll get to that in a second. So we've got these references to CDM reports. Unfortunately, these references don't mean anything. They came out of the RFP. So I think that we're going to have to actually provide links to these studies like we did in the RFP. And that's what Weston and Sampson did in their supplemental information. So I think
We can lift all that right from the RFP, right? We already got that under control.
Yeah, we might want to tack it on to the end of this.
Yeah, just provide a list at the end. That'd be tidier.
The other way we could do this is we could simply say that all of these CDM documents are available on the town's webpage. Would that be okay, or should we give them the links?
Oh, I like the pointing them to the website.
Okay,
I'd give them the links. I think pointing them to the website is going to be annoying.
Yeah, they're not going to go to the website though, are they?
There was a vote yay and a vote nay. Okay.
Well,
I
if
think
they
we
do,
make it easy for the reviewers as possible.
right, exactly.
There's a time issue here.
okay. So I'll
I mean, if
Well,
they,
there's
if
yeah,
they go to our
yeah.
website and can't find it, they'll get ticked off.
okay. So I will.
You're going to make these active hot links in the actual document, right?
That's right.
So yeah, you can do that, and then they'll just link right to those, short phrases there, or you can list them at the end. Whatever is easier for final document production.
Well, for a letter, it's probably best to put it in here. A letter like this probably shouldn't have an attachment with links in it.
Or to make this readable, I mean, just put it in CDM too. But
So anyway,
at the
what
end,
this is saying is that what was your comment, Les?
I say just so it's easy to read, just leave it as it looks on the screen now. But at the end, put in a short list of references for each of those, and they make those the active link. It's just a matter of they'd have to scroll to the end to click on it.
Actually, we did more than 3 wells or 1 well in the Suasco Basin.
You're in the next paragraph, Brian?
I'm having a tough time reading it because it's so small.
Can you make it bigger, Brian?
Don't use your bandwidth. Don't use it. You lose it.
I can make it bigger, but oh, there it is.
Now go to your slider on the bottom.
And the bottom right
On the
hand.
bottom.
He's got it.
Get out of that.
Yeah, cancel out of that and get onto the bottom of the screen.
Lower right.
How does,
That's
That's-
better.
how does this look?
It's better, I guess. I don't know. It's still small. But again, don't burn your bandwidth. Keep it up and keep it running.
Too much.
There you go.
That's
Well, you
good.
could take your video off, Brian, if you're trying to save bandwidth.
Are you guys having a hard time hearing me?
A little bit.
Your audio is
Is that why
breaking
you're
up.
bringing up bandwidth?
Yes. At least that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it breaking up.
All right, I just shut one thing down. All right,
Okay.
what were you saying, Brian, about the test wells?
We had more test wells. We did Wolf Swamp. We did stuff over Steel Farm. We did a bunch in the basins.
Aren't those in some of those CDM reports that are listed right there?
Yes, but the thing that jumped out at me is it said we installed 3 bedrock wells to prove to be unfeasible. We did more than 3.
I didn't think we did. We did 2 at Wolf Swamp and we did 1 at Picnic Trust.
Yeah, I
I
thought we
don't-
did two at Picnic Trust.
I don't think so. I think there was just the one. I mean, the preferred location was too hard to get to.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. I thought we did a couple in there, but anyway, there's three there that are not just out at the basin. So we poked
That
a
are
few-
not what?
Well, as it turns out that Picnic Trust. What did you say, Brian?
Well, Picnic Trust wasn't that big a well. It was a bedrock well. It wasn't going to produce a lot of water.
None of
We
them
were
did.
No, and that's why the big thing was to try and find a source that was at least 500,000 gallons or better.
Yeah.
Brian, we're looking at a weather map.
I know. I was trying to shut down some stuff, and I can't get back to my screen share.
Alt tab. Brian, if you alt tab, you'll see all your open screens.
I do, but I can't click on it.
Just need to go back to Word at the top of this. Yeah. No, where you were, just hit your Word icon on your ribbon at the top, and you should have it.
Okay.
That's it.
There you go.
Now, as it turns out, all three of these bedrock wells were in the Merrimack River Basin. I checked the map, and this is incorrect.
So is it worth bringing that up then? It's given what we're trying to do here.
Well, it is because I bring it up below with the official ones.
Is the point here that we say we explored put in other test wells, or that we didn't find a productive site in the Suasco Basin?
A little bit of both. It would benefit us to say that we had done more in the Suasco River Basin than we did. But I mean, we went with the highest ranking bedrock well sites, and they happen to be in the Merrimack River Basin.
And you could say that the other Suasco sites were not highly ranked. Pre-bedrock test wells, right? No, three. Pre-bedrock test wells in the Merrimack River Basin that proved to be unfeasible.
Actually, I'm confused. They weren't bedrock wells. They were gravel pack wells.
I'm just talking about the sentence grammar.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying The ones that we did in
We're
all
getting
the
to those.
were bedrock wells. These were gravel packs.
Right, but before we did those, we did the bedrock wells, didn't we?
I don't think so. I think they did 2-inch gravel pack with a screen.
Wait a minute. The first well we installed was in Wolf Swamp. That was a bedrock well.
No, we've installed wells before that. We did Picnic Trust. See, I'm remembering other wells too, but maybe it wasn't with CDM. Then we did Wolf Swamp, which is not in the Merrimack Basin. It's in the Suasco.
No, it's in the Merrimack.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I checked the map before the meeting. I mean, Wolf Swamp is essentially Beaver Brook. It's the headwaters of Beaver Brook, and that's in the Merrimack Basin.
Okay.
It did get a little complicated. As I recall, the first well was Wolf Swamp. We put in a second well in Wolf Swamp, but that may have come later. And we did with the one at Picnic Trust, and that may have come even later. I would have to confirm, because the next sentence here talks about, I said
We need to
CDM followed these with 4 test wells in.
We don't have time to research this.
What's
We
that,
need to
Les?
cut. We need to finish this up tonight. So if there's questions
Yep.
about this, just don't include it.
Well, I can confirm that what we're saying is accurate here, if that's okay.
Well, I want us to
The
vote
point
on
is,
this.
I don't want to vote. I want to present the facts.
I mean, how important is this thing to our story?
well, the whole point of bringing up these alternatives is the fact that we did other evaluations that Littleton has never mentioned. That's the whole reason for doing this, and
Right.
DCR wants to know about this.
Right. And is it terribly important that they're in Suesco or not? Maybe that's not the essential thing.
That was one of the things that Kevin asked me about. He said, where were those wells? What river basin were those wells in? He wanted to know.
Okay.
It's a big
All
deal
right.
for the interbasin transfer.
Okay. Although they were very small wells, right? They were just test wells.
Yeah.
Well, so what is it you're comfortable with at this point? 3 bedrock test wells in the Merrimack Basin that proved to be unfeasible. I guess that's another sentence in that. Bedrock wells in the Suasco Basin were not ranked as high.
That's kind of a parenthetical statement, isn't it?
Where, what? Well, your
Bedrock sites in Suasco were not ranked.
Well, just make that a new sentence if it's a standalone thing. The first part of it's true, right? 3 bedrock test wells in the Merrimack River Basin were not feasible for public municipal water supply. I would then start a new sentence saying bedrock sites tested in the Suasco Basin were not. Well, actually, you didn't even test them, I guess. You just didn't rank them highly, so you didn't test them. You
Right.
guys have to. I would say that. Potential bedrock sites in the Suasco Basin were not highly ranked for testing. That's basically what you're saying, right?
Correct.
We knew about it. We looked. We decided it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth a shot. Okay, so that's the bedrock well story, and now you're into the CDM studies on superficial aquifers.
Right. And I said that CDM followed these bedrock
Right.
wells with 4 test wells in superficial aquifers.
Right.
And as Brian points out, maybe the order of this wasn't quite that simple.
Which is the superficial one in the Siwasco Basin?
Hazard Lane.
Hazard Lane. Okay.
Do we just had a thought about not getting hung up on exactly when and maybe not using a sequential thing for this paragraph. You know, the previous paragraph, the last sentence, or the second to last, says they evaluated several sites. So they evaluated and ranked several sites to determine suitability. And then we could do more of a summary statement, you know, in the next paragraph. You know, CDM installed test wells in both the Merrimack River Basin and Siwasco Basin, right? I mean, I don't know that we need to say which ones are bedrock and which ones are superficial. And the upshot is, based on preliminary pumping tests, CDM estimated to yield the best, you know, just be more specific in that last sentence of this paragraph. And then, you know what I'm saying? It just seems like a lot of detail that might not be needed. It sounds like the key thing is to have some, hopefully we had some test wells in the Siwasco Basin.
Yeah.
Rather than,
Well, I think what the point of this is that a gravel packed well in the Beaverbrook Aquifer was not our first choice.
oh, okay.
So how about just this? In terms of the order, I just say CDM also installed 4 test wells in superficial aquifers.
I don't think it matters whether it was your first choice or not. What Kevin's looking for is evidence that we looked in the Siwasco Basin.
Yep.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we only looked at 1 well.
Well, it's one is not
Well,
zero.
that's not true. That's not true because we had test wells from over when we were doing it with stuff on the subdivisions and some other things. We had other well data, and we even looked it over by the airport, and there was no water of any great quantity until you got closer to the Acton wells, and of course we didn't want to tread on that water.
Right, but CDM didn't look at that. That wasn't part of their work.
They reviewed the work that was already done.
Yeah. And I tried to capture that with this sentence here that said there were some earlier studies as well.
There were some earlier studies by other consultants as well. So can we add they evaluated and ranked several sites?
Who did?
Well, CDM, right?
They ranked the bedrock test well sites. They did not rank the superficial aquifer sites.
Okay.
Well, they ranked them once they got to Harvard Sportsman's Club, right?
No, they ranked them in 2002.
Well, but eventually, I don't know about the year. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the very first study CDM gave us, they had ranked the potential bedrock sites, A through M. They didn't do that for the superficial sites. And
So Janet was making a suggestion, or where are we now on that?
The language is so tight in this paragraph, it's almost hard to change it. So I was just trying to make a suggestion, you know, to simplify things, but it sounds like it's going to be a bit of a challenge to do that.
Well, I've tried to simplify it by taking out the order in which we did these, and simply say that we did bedrock test wells and we did superficial aquifer test wells.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then from the preliminary pumping test, CDM estimated that the yield of the best of the two superficial aquifer sites was more than enough to supply the western part of town.
Correct.
Then CDM prepared a feasibility study for the municipal water system to serve the western part of town, but not limited to west of 495 as the current project is. We talked about a sharing arrangement with Littleton, much like we have now. And that test well was also in an area mapped as Blanding's turtle habitat, and it involved an interbasin transfer. But the transfer would have been within Boxborough, and it would not have required interbasin transfer approval because it didn't cross municipal boundaries.
Why do we want to interject Blanding's turtles at this point?
Because it's the whole reason we're in this bag of shit.
Yeah, but why put it in our letter? I don't know what value does it add to the whole pitch here.
What I'm trying to imply here is that even if Littleton wasn't developing the well that they are, we were looking at, and we might still develop a well in Blanding's turtle habitat. The point is that they're going to deal with Blanding's turtle no matter what well gets developed.
Yeah, okay, I think that I get your point. I think somehow that needs to be made a little clearer, I think, at least for me. Like the current proposal, this well was
The challenge
also
we're going to have here is because the next sentence says town meeting voted down. And so without some explanation, we don't know why town meeting voted it down. One could infer that it had something to do with the Blanding's turtle.
well, no, that's not why they voted
I
it
know,
down.
but that's the way it's expressed, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just best not to raise the Blanding's turtle's little head and make it hard to connect the dots, you know. I mean,
Well,
they
the
know,
point I'm trying to make is that no matter where we develop a well site, we're going to be dealing with Blanding's turtle.
right, but they know that as well, right? They can look at the maps.
No, they don't know that. They don't know where these wells were.
Has anyone seen the Blanding's turtle since Cisco was developing the site?
I haven't.
I know that when they first started the project, they saw them and they had to put chips on the turtles to track them. And by the time they were getting ready to start construction, they had lost track of the turtles and they were never heard from again.
Well, and then I would add a connecting phrase along the lines of pointing out, like you did, that a really good place to be found also happened to be a habitat for Blanding's turtles. And I guess it would have involved an interbasin transfer. And then later say, despite habitat concerns, the town wished to continue exploring this site and conduct further pump tests. However, town meeting voted down requests for funding for pump tests, and so nothing more happened. That's the point, right?
Yep.
We found a good producer where Blanding's turtles live. We wanted to, it was good enough. We wanted to go back and test it again and prove it. We had money on an article for that, but people got the wrong idea about it and they voted it down. So we did nothing. That's the end of it. It wasn't ended because of Blanding's turtles. It was ended because there was no funding to do further testing.
Well, it was all, well, there was no funding because town was afraid of the price tag for the system that was presented at town meeting.
Well, no, not for this winter town meeting where we just wanted to go back and retest the big well in the Harvard Sports Club. They might have been thinking that, but that's
that comes later.
Pardon?
That comes later.
Well, hang on, one thing at a time. The reason town meeting voted that down is because people got the impression that we wanted the authority to go in and take land by eminent domain.
No.
No.
Yes, it was.
No,
That
we're
was
back in 2008 here, Les. In
Wait, are you
2008,
Are you talking about the recent?
no.
that's
no,
in the
no.
next paragraph.
In 2008, they voted it down because they couldn't stomach the price tag.
But that's the big system. Okay, 2008.
And that's where this is referring.
Oh, so you knew it was Habitat for Blanding Sturlos then? All right, so
Oh, yeah.
this is before my time. Okay,
It
so
wasn't a
town
big
meeting, we knew it was a good producer then. But the town meeting did not vote to fund further development of a municipal system. We didn't go back and test it again, right?
Correct.
Correct.
So the next phase is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The winter of 2022. Okay, sorry about that.
Right. So then in 2018, DEP alerted Boxborough to further problems in the western part of town,
Mm-hmm.
which were high sodium levels and the proximity of water supply wells and wastewater discharges at the condominium developments.
And there was also contamination from perchlorate.
Was that an ephemeral issue due to the
Not in
interim?
2018.
Yeah, there was concern at the time about perchlorates, but weren't they ultimately tied to the blasting that was done for the septic system that had to be installed?
Treatment plants, yep.
So it came in and it went as a problem, as far as we know, although I don't think anyone's tested again.
I don't think anybody's tested it again.
Well, perchlorate was an issue back when CDM was doing the work,
Yeah,
but it wasn't a problem that came up in 2018
right.
when DEP came to the.
Yeah.
Does this look okay to you, Brian? The issue is the proximity of water supply wells and wastewater discharges at the condominiums.
Yep.
Okay.
All approved by DEP.
I'm going to leave that out.
Can we say the 3 condominium developments? The reader doesn't know which 3, so can we say at 3 condominium developments on Common Hill
Swanson
Road?
Yeah,
Swanson.
that's
Well, wait a
Swanson and Common. Yeah,
We identified them.
we do.
Okay.
Yeah, back up in back up when we were talking about Foxborough's role in the project. Most of these residents live in 3 condominium complexes, which are served by privately owned public water systems.
Okay, so we still don't tell them where they are in this paragraph either. Right, so we need to say most of them live in 3 condominium complexes on, because we don't name the roads until later, right?
But is that important? What's important is that it's west of 495, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay. Got
And
it.
then we further explain, yeah, you further explain it down below. 3,100 residents.
Okay, so when we
Can you-
jumped out here, Jenna, I think was asking whether we should refer to the location of the condominiums here.
I think further down, they described them on Codman and Swanson Road.
I'm not sure we do, but I'm not sure we need to, do we?
I thought I just read something
we
about
said,
that.
We can just say they're in the western part of town. Let it go at that.
which we identified at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
So at that point, we began re-examining the CDM studies, and we began talking to Littleton and Mass DOT. And while this process was occurring, some of the highest levels of PFAS in town were detected. Not the highest, because those were occurring around town hall.
Right. So what's relevant is what was in the PWS's serving these condos, right? Not what's right, because that's what's relevant here. And
Yeah.
you know, we don't know what the highest levels
But
are
those-
because they haven't.
but
Everything hasn't been
those-
tested. So
Well, all the PWSs have tested their water.
right. So
And-
because they're required to test, right, at this time period, then we started seeing concentrations of PFAS above acceptable standard. I shouldn't say acceptable, above standards were measured, right? But we need to say it was measured in the. Doesn't matter that it's throughout town. It matters that what was in the PWSs.
Yeah, as far as DEP's project with us to bring in water from Littleton, they're only talking about issues with the wells servicing the western side of town, even though we all know there's PFAS everywhere.
Right, and some of the highest levels were detected west of 495.
Right, but it says in the town, not in the
Okay,
PWS west of 495 or the 3 condominiums or whatever. We need to be exact.
I meant to say this.
Oh, okay.
In this area, meaning west of 495?
Yep, I could change that to say in the project area.
In the potential service area or something, yeah. West of 495.
As far as I know, the highest was the Campanelli well, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Then we came to special town meeting.
Okay, so before we leave that, and this is the thing, I don't want to talk about the highest levels of PFAS. What's relevant is that the PFAS concentrations are above DEP standards in PWS. That's what's relevant. And
Why
I
aren't
don't
we
want,
supplying water to the entire town?
well, this letter is about what Littleton is willing to give us. Why aren't we, right? So we don't want to be the ones to, you know, to have yet another paragraph that says, the first 2 paragraphs ago, we said we voted it down. And now we have another paragraph, right? We don't want to highlight situations where it's problematic throughout the town and this is all we're doing. We just want to focus on supporting this one specific project. It'll be one of many things that need to get done to resolve the PFAS issue. But if someone just reads this paragraph, you know, because people read quickly or they don't really read for, you know, it's like when you say PFAS in the town, that's the part that's bothering me. Not to say we don't have PFAS in town, of course we do. But you know,
How does
while
this
the
look?
process was occurring, right? Measured concentrations of PFAS above drinking water standards or measured in the PWSs in the proposed project area. I think that's really
As much as you want to
exactly
say.
what's going on.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Yeah,
Concentrations.
above the drinking water
Yeah,
standard.
just measured concentrations of PFAS or concentrations. Well, detected is fine, whatever you want, but
I mean,
This
it's sort
does-
of obvious that we need to say they were detected in PWSs in the proposed project area,
mhm,
not just random test wells.
right. Or measured in PWS in the proposed project area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just need another in before
Okay.
the word the proposed, and then I'm okay with that sentence. And then it's special town meeting.
So the Water Resources Committee brought an article to the special town meeting in February 2022 to fund an extended pumping test on its preferred site from 2008 in order to refine the yield estimate and evaluate drawdown impacts. The article failed to pass, and Boxborough stopped planning to develop a well on this site. And then later in 2022, Littleton proposed the
Brian, are you trying to speak? Your microphone stopped. Are you talking?
not at the moment.
Okay.
You have the extra word the in front of February 2022.
Yeah.
Could also change in order to just the word to in that sentence to get rid of a few more words.
That's what my grammar check wants me to do, but I sort
You
of
just don't like it?
I sort of like it the way it is.
Okay.
I love simplifying things, but I kind of like that in order.
It's fine.
I think it's it's technical DNA showing through. I would use the same thing.
Which
To say in order to, Anyway.
Les has a funny story about working too much on a document. If he wants to share it.
I'll tell you privately. We're being recorded.
That's right. So at this time, it seems likely that DEP would approve a new source at the 2008 site if the Littleton Taylor Street well is approved. The cumulative impact of the two wells would likely be too great. The town also notes that a golf course previously approved on Beaverbrook Road is unlikely to be constructed. The company that developed the land missed the approval deadline for constructing it, and the town of Harvard, where part of it would be located, was opposed to it.
Yeah.
What do you think, John? You didn't.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, Mariel thought we didn't need to dwell on the golf course for a variety of reasons, including the fact that if it was ever to be reactivated, they would have to need a whole Water Management Act permit to do it. And so there's another impediment to doing anything, but I don't think it hurts to say this.
I guess I don't know why we're saying this, just so I understand. It's not going to happen. We're not going to approve it,
Yeah,
but we're talking about it.
But I'm trying to make the point that something bad didn't happen. You know,
I think the fact that there are some documents that talk about it, and this clears up the fact that even though it was written about, talked about, it's not going to happen.
But it says the town also knows that a golf course previously approved. Right? So I'm just trying to understand. So when I read this, trying to be objective here, I read this as, here's a town that approved a golf course that would be a terrible misuse of water, and they won't even fund their own water supply. But that's how it could read. So I guess I don't really, I'm not opposed to it if I could just understand better how this helps us, this statement, like these golf course, anything about the golf course, how does it help with this letter?
Well, it is confusing, or it does raise
I'm
more
not-
issues.
I'm
Because
not sure.
we're connecting two things together that way distant in time. Back at the time Towermark was proposing that project, no one was worried about quality of water or quantity of water. So it never came up as far as I know. Now we're a lot
I'm trying to-
smarter. Times are
I'm
different.
trying to remember if it was actually ever approved. It was presented to us by
I think it was
Towermark.
proposed.
It was proposed by Towermark, and then it fell. It basically was rejected by. First of all, it was proposed before Cisco came in. Okay, and then when Cisco came in, the amount of land that Cisco needed, they no longer the golf course was no longer viable for that reason, and also for the reason that part of it was initially proposed in Harvard, and Harvard was against it because they had their own golf course.
Yeah, well, that's
So-
all probably true. But the thing I'm remembering, and Brian can help me here, when we looked at the conservation restrictions over there on the
Yep.
Beaverbrook campus, one of them does specifically say a well could be constructed to service a golf course. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the open space conservation restriction allows for a golf course.
So the question is, did anybody ever pursue the permitting necessary? So it's a
It was never approved by the planning board because it never got to that stage.
right, but
I
the
was
fact
on
that
the board then.
the restriction could allow it, but nobody ever pursued it. So both statements are true, right?
Well,
You can
I
write a
see what
conservation
John's-
restriction saying if you can put a well in here to irrigate your golf course, but then you have to go for other permitting and approval by the planning board. And nobody ever pursued it. So the fact that the conservation restriction has a disconnect in it is not surprising to me. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But I don't know if it helps us to bring it up at this point.
right. I mean, if you say that it's approved, it wasn't really approved because the fact that it wasn't really approved because you would need complete approval through the planning board, and that never happened.
But then who has to sign off on the conservation restrictions?
Wouldn't the planning board have had something to do with that?
I
No,
don't know. That's the landowner.
no.
I mean, that
I mean-
conservation restriction was in place to satisfy, what was it called, John? Open space development permit?
Yeah.
Go look at the
Don't-
CR on Sergeant Road. I mean, the planning board wasn't involved in that, was it?
No.
Right, but there was a open space development permit in front of the planning board.
Yeah, and
So
John just said they
land-
never acted on it, but so that's true, and it's also true that the CR says you could put a well there under the CR, but they're not connected.
Right, but John, weren't the conservation restrictions part of approval of the open space development permit?
No, that I don't know.
That I don't really remember.
I mean, that's what the town approved, was an open space development project.
It might have said, provided that the owner records the conservation restriction, blah, blah, blah. I don't
I mean,
know.
I think they could record it.
But I think Janet's onto something here, because if you don't know all these details, it sort of suggests, well, they're going to permit a well here and didn't do it, but what's going on? And doesn't really help the case that we're trying to make, does it? It seems
kinda
unlikely
opens-
that DEP would approve something that it's not going to come up, so a double moot.
Well, do you want to take out the business about the golf course?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea.
Yep. Take that out.
Because, very few people even know about that, and that might just invite someone to go digging around in documents and raising more questions, which we don't want.
Well, when we first started digging into this, I was very concerned about it.
Yeah, for our own reasons, right.
I had this vision of Cisco wanting to resurrect that golf course plan. You bring up an interesting point, John, that they actually needed more space for their buildings, and that took away from the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, when the golf course was originally proposed, it was proposed by Tower Mark as an incentive to bring other businesses to the site. That's what it was there for. And originally it was 18 holes, then they decided 9 holes, and they cut it back because of the amount of land was ridiculous. And then Cisco came in and they said, no, they didn't need the golf course, they didn't want the golf course, so it was never presented after that.
So I want to propose that are we all set on the golf course conversation? I just want to.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I think we should also delete this sentence because it's speculative. At this time, it seems unlikely that DEP would approve. I guess we don't want to have a letter that says we don't think DEP is going to do something, or the cumulative impacts of the wells would likely be too great. I mean, we don't know. It's all probably true, but I don't know that this helps us in this letter. I don't want to say something that's speculation.
I don't think it helps us because I think it looks like we're trying to make a decision for DEP.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, I am
think
misgiving.
call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd get rid of that.
Well, the reason I wanted this in here was because, I mean, if we were to pursue that well, the impacts on the proposed well would probably be greater. And we don't think it's likely that that's going to happen. So we're giving them the option,
Speculation on
suggesting, approve the project in front of you, and we don't expect to come back with another well in this area. I think that's important.
No.
Well, we don't want to make that promise. What if everything fell apart? What if nothing, and then, hey, Boxborough, why don't you step up? You need, you could be doing all the things Littleton's doing.
Yeah,
can't, obviously, but
what happens if the Taylor Street well does not get approved, and then we're forced to go back to Harbor Sports Club and do nasty things?
Yeah.
Right. And,
Well,
and then DEP comes back to us and say, we're not approving this because you told us we wouldn't approve
it. Yeah, get that. Yeah. This is a loaded gun pointed at our foot.
Well, that's why I use the weasel words. At this time, it seems unlikely.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, I think I let it go, Brian. I think I agree with Brian Lynch.
We don't need it. You really don't need it.
All right.
I mean, Brian, I understand your point, but it's not going to help right now.
So what we're left with is, from the previous 2 sentences ago, Boxborough stopped planning to develop a well at this site. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I think so.
And if all hell breaks loose, we'll go after it. But we're not going to say that. So then, for a conclusion, as a result of these evaluations, we believe that providing water from this well is the best alternative from an engineering and environmental perspectives. Provision of clean water is extremely important.
Yeah.
For the health and welfare of many residents and businesses. The town has worked closely and wholeheartedly supports this project. This is Mike talking now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact that it also alleviates Foxborough from having to build their own treatment plant.
Oh, all that. Yeah.
Do we want to mention that?
No, just I would
don't
just
want
stick to the water angle, you know.
So this would go out under Mike's signature. I was gonna CC Corey and Les, so Les can distribute it to us. And then after today's conversation, I thought we should probably add Mariel Stone at DEP and Kevin at Weston and Sampson.
good idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
they both asked me to give our final product to them. So let's do that.
I've already given Kevin the draft that we're looking at now, but put the important people first here. Little old Water Resources Committee can go to the end.
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters, but I feel like CCing the proponent is a little off. It somehow doesn't sit right with me. You know, these are regulatory agencies. They're dealing with other regulatory agencies. And, you know, it almost seems like it could be misinterpreted as Kevin had some kind of part in drafting this letter, and that would be inappropriate. I just don't think that's a good CC. You can provide it to him after if you want to, because it's a public document and we've discussed it, but I'm just not sure that's the right distribution.
That's a good point. You think the same about copying Mariel for
No,
DEP
because she
on this?
works for DEP.
Right. So we take off Kevin and Corey, and we can give them a courtesy copy afterwards.
I
Should
think
I?
it's a little odd
Well,
not to include them.
I mean,
Well,
I could see
this letter
including
was
Cor-
prepared, well, I'm gonna be really clear because we've been recorded. This letter was prepared independent of Corey Godfrey and hopefully, well, you said you talked to Kevin McKinnon, so that's not true. But it makes it seem like it could be seen like they had a hand in this letter, and I don't want that impression.
It's a good point.
They'll get the letter because they get all of the comments because that's required by MIPA. So the MIPA's job is to amass all of the comments and then require either the secretary through their agents, Jennifer, will write responses to those comments, as well as the proponent. When they file their final EIR, they're going to have all these comment letters and their responses to them. So it will all be provided to the proponents through the MIPA process. So it's almost like a little short circuit that's doesn't look
No,
good.
you're right. You raised a very good point, John. We'll keep it clean.
So we'll leave in Mariel.
Just Mariel and me, I guess. Right?
Yep.
It's coming from Mike. And Mike will give it to the select board, I'm sure. Okay, so if we scroll back up there, what we have to do is clean up and make sure that there's a list of references at the end that need hyperlinks, right? Is that what we have to do?
Yeah.
Or actually embed them and make them hot links, which won't be displayed in full. You'd have to have a live electronic document to make it work. Or you want to put in a little bit.ly link so people can copy it. I don't know.
I thought those links would work in a Word document.
Yeah, they'll work on a Word document.
Yeah, I've done that myself.
Huh?
I've done that myself. You can put them in a Word
Yeah,
document.
yeah. You just associate those CDM 2000 with the appropriate source and make a link.
Mhm.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4 things to link up. Is that it? 2008A? No, that's there. I don't need to link it twice, or do we? Doing it once, and I guess it's easy enough to do it again.
Weston and Sampson put it in the body of their supplemental information document.
Yeah, let me see what they did.
So if we follow their format,
We could do it either way. You could have a little section at the end called references or something.
I didn't know if it was worth it for a 3-page letter to do that.
I don't know.
Well, you like I think Dave said you could just, or someone did, you could just highlight CDM 2002, right click, hyperlink, and just paste the hyperlink in the box, and it'll show up as CDM 2002, and each one of those will be underlined. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that keeps the document short rather than having another whole section called references.
Right.
We'll do that way.
All right, so we'll just put them individually up here.
Yeah.
No, no. Yes and no. So you'd highlight CDM 2002 and you would right click, and in that menu you would choose hyperlinks. And then in the hyperlink menu dialog box, the CDM 2002 would be what would appear in the text, but the actual link would also in that dialog box get pasted in. And then CDM 2002 becomes its own link, a very brief one, and you click it, and then the person will go where they need to go. So that saves so much real estate on the page. You don't have to make extra effort here.
Yeah.
That's way above my pay grade.
Well, just send it to me and
Oh,
I'll send it back to you. It's no biggie.
Yeah.
You're an engineer, Brian, you can figure that out.
I'm sure I can.
Brian, I can help you with it, or Jen will take Jen up on her offer because she's much better at it than I am.
Yeah, she could have it done in 5 minutes.
But I just need to get it done fast so I can get it to Mike and say, look, if we approve it tonight, then I'll say this is approved by the committee. So please go send a letter. And they'll put it on select board letterhead.
Were there any other outstanding questions? I thought I saw some red text. Are we close to done, or
I think
you had some red flag? I didn't know. Oh, the reasons of the project discussed in the next section. Oh, well, you were adding that text. Okay. I didn't know if red meant you were going to follow up on it.
So
okay.
I would take this out. I was also going to strike this business about PFAS because we talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would take this out and replace that with a sentence that said reasons for the project are discussed in the next section.
say are discussed. Insert the word are. Yeah. Now you are striking that sentence above that strike through, right?
Yes.
And we defined LWD at the beginning, right? Yes.
We did.
So again, when Mike sends the email, it goes to Jennifer Hughes. Is that what you guys are telling me?
That's the
Yep.
way we've been doing it.
Yep.
It's the way we did it with Lincoln property.
Okay.
All PWSSs, Janet, have been deleted. You okay?
I hope so.
Good.
Anyone want to make a motion?
Uh,
I move the,
yeah, somebody do it.
move-
Go ahead.
I'll make a
I move
motion
we
to
approve
accept.
the letter as amended.
Second,
It's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a
This will
vote.
be subject to turning those references into links.
Yes, subject to making the references hot links. Okay, moved and seconded. Dave McKiernan,
McCann and I,
Brian Clemens,
Aye.
Stephen Schmidt,
Aye.
Janet Keating Connolly,
Aye.
Brian Lynch,
Aye.
John Markowitz,
aye.
and Les Fox votes aye. Thank you very much. Thanks to Brian for doing a lot of work. I helped
7
a
to
little.
0.
And
Yeah. A lot of work.
Jan-
Good job.
Janet, thanks a lot for your careful reading. Okay.
Well, it's
All
been
right.
a very interesting process because of the last minute conversations from everybody who's
It is now 9:25. Pre-submission status of the RP. The short version is that Brian and I have both gone over it. He has done a lot of work on actually touching the document. We have a list of 8 things that need to be nailed down with Rajan about process, accepting electronic submissions and so forth. I sent that note to you folks, I think.
Yep.
How to respond to questions that we might get by email versus those that come from the pre-bid conference, and so on and so on. My proposal is that you trust us to sort this all out with Rajan and wrap this up and get the thing distributed, published with adjustments to the schedule as we already agreed to, that's embedded in the document, or unless you want to look at it one more time. So after
So
you talk
moved.
to Rajan.
No more.
I move that we trust Les and Brian to get this done with Rajan.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
well, go ahead,
Sure.
Janet.
And now we can have a
No, then we
discussion.
then we have discussion.
Right. Oh, yeah. So I'm trying to understand the edits that were made to the document that got sent out. They're fine. I'm just trying to, I think this is a word processing question. So we have in Word, we
Do
have.
you want to put this up on the screen,
Oh, I
Janet,
guess
or-
so. Yeah, this is super quick. I hope.
Brian, do you want to throw
Fingers
it up? Or do you...
crossed. No, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll make you a co-host then. Hang on. Okay. You can do it.
Still says host disabled.
What? Wait,
Try it again.
did I click the wrong thing?
I don't know.
No, make host. Change the host. Wait a minute. I thought it
Not
said
change the
make
host. You're just sharing.
co-host. I
Yeah.
know. Wait a minute. Oh no, it says you're a co-host on my screen. Can you not
Here
do
we
it?
go. Now we got it.
It was taking its time.
It was. We're too fast. Too fast with the computer.
Right.
All right. So this is a Word document where we're using margin comments. It says my name because I
Right.
wrote the comment, but the comments were what we all
Yes.
said in the meeting. These are shared comments.
Yeah.
So there's been like blue text added throughout the document that repeats what's in the margin. And I
Right.
guess I don't get the value of that. Like what's that doing for Rajon? Like, because these weren't done in track changes. These were done with like changing font colors, which makes so much more work for the person who now has to finalize it. So track changes, review, track changes for everyone. Okay, right there. Review, track changes. So it takes care of telling the reader what's added, what's deleted, simply as you type. So I don't know what the blue's all about, since there's two issues. It repeats what's in the margins, and it wasn't done in track changes. So what are we trying to achieve with these blue additions? It's not about content at this point.
I didn't use track changes, and I wasn't looking at your comments in the margin when I did this. The blue was changes that I made to the document, or they were questions for Rajon. So
Okay.
it would be, I mean, I responded to your changes, your edits in the margin, but I wasn't looking at them when I made these changes to the document. That's just my personal dislike for track changes when it's been reviewed so many times by so many people.
But there's only,
So
everyone's
maybe, Janet,
comments
if you
have been
could
added.
go
I
into
just
track changes and
do whatever you want. I'm thinking like, what's the fastest way to get this done? When Rajon receives this document, how can he like be done with this? And so I don't know how he works and operates. Everyone has their own style. But like every single margin comment got reflected back into the document with blue text. So I thought, wow, okay, is there some request that it be done this way? You don't like margin comments? Is it a concern that like people just aren't going to read them? And so this is more emphatic.
then I think for
Because it now makes more work, because not only do they have to read the blue text, they then also have to read the margin comment and then go, oh, that's the same thing I just saw. Oh, are there two comments? So I'm trying to streamline it.
Well, I think there's two things. For one, the sentence highlighted in blue, the town also welcomes blah, blah, blah.
the blue,
That's
the blue was for
language.
the water resource.
Pardon? Pardon? Brian, what were you saying?
The comments in blue, the stuff in blue is for the Resources Committee. It can be changed to black for Rajon. And the margin comments can be turned off for Rajon.
Yeah, well, we have a list,
But
a
the questions
standalone
for
list.
Rajon, also in blue, need to stay that way.
We have a separate list that reflects all the margin comments. I believe we have 8 things, actually 9, that I added one more about, for example, downloading the RFP.
General way.
Excuse me?
It reflects them in a general way, but not.
You broke up there. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
It
I
reflects
think-
them in a general way, but they're
Yeah, but yeah, the things in the marginal comments are collected in a summary in a standalone document that I sent around. Just a list of things that we want to, Ryan and I want to make sure Rajon knows about and responds to and helps us with each and every one of those and doesn't overlook them because they're just a marginal comment. I think that was his intent. And the blue text is text he proposed adding to the document. Correct? That what you and I talked about, like the town also welcomes suggestions from proposers.
well, no, there's blue text that calls for Rajon attention, different things.
I'm sorry you broke up. I didn't know what you said.
There are a number of places in the document where there are blue comments for Rajan.
Right, but going down to the sentence that starts out.
I would
whoops.
suggest a sentence like this, where it says the town also welcomes, I would suggest we,
Right.
Okay, so I can tell you to invest in the power of the margin comment, but apparently I'm the only one who has that kind of confidence in the margin comments. So what I'm seeing is this kind of comment: italics, bracket, Rajon to confirm that amending the phase 1 contract can be done. Okay, you know, that's fine, but it needs to be one or the other, right? So I feel like, why isn't that a margin comment? You know, Rajon, please confirm the amending phase 1 contract can be done. I think adding it to the text now means we have to go back to every time we have a thing like this in the text to take it out. Where if you have comments, when you're done with the comment, you just confirm that you were done. You don't have to delete it. You can say resolved. And then you could always go back in time and say, oh, how do we resolve that comment? And you know what I mean? So it is a running documentation of the changes to the document by using the functions that are available in the margin comments. So I just found it all very confusing. I don't know how you want to spend your time tonight, if we just want to read the blue and as that is unitalicized and say, yep, sounds good. That can all be made black, and then it'll be ready to send over to Rajon. That might be one way to dig in tonight and get it done. And then maybe as we go through it, people can make that decision about whether we're using margin comments or not. Does that make sense?
I think it does, Jan. So I don't know. I'm not sure how many blue comments are in there, but I think if we start to if we clean it up and just get it ready to go, because I think Rajan's going to need to sit down. He'll have questions to ask Les and Brian, and there'll be some changes after that. After that point, he might say, well, these dates won't work, or I don't know that he's. I mean, we gave it our best guess last time. I think there'll be some required changes based on the meeting with Rajan, but that seems normal to me as far as him being the guy who's going to be pushing it out. So the best thing we could do is get it cleaned up for tonight to get over to him.
I mean, I'll make one more plea for the margin. So this thing right here, dates need to be confirmed, delete day number for final version. Absolutely. Yep. And that's what the comment says. Day sequence added, day number to be deleted for final RFP. When you're done, before you're ready to finalize your document, you go to delete all comments in document, and then they're gone. And then the person can save it, create a PDF, and we don't have to worry about having our internal conversation about what edits need to be made, potentially making their way into the final RFP by accident. There's a lot of text here. It's not the longest RFP. It's not, but it's a lot of text to deal with.
People can do this however they want to do it. I'm not touching this document. I'm not touching this document one more time, okay?
Okay.
I'm not touching this document one more time. I am all done.
Okay. Les, do you want to go over the 8 topics in the email that you sent out, or that's just up to Rajon and you guys to figure out?
I think this is just a summary of the things that we needed to talk to Rajon about that are reflected in some of these.
Then we don't have to talk about that either. Okay, good.
Yeah. And I only add one more suggestion to the document itself, and I think the final document and the footer on each page ought to reflect its revision and date number, so that if you think a standalone page, you know which RFP it came from. It'll be identified by a date of issue or something, and that's easy enough for us to add just as a footer. You know what I'm saying?
How many versions will there be of the RFP?
Well, once we issue it, that's gonna be number one, I think, right? I mean, I don't know.
Right, so we
What do
wouldn't release it with something that said version 7.
No,
Right?
I mean,
We wouldn't release that as a
it'll be
document. So
released
it'll be
with
final, it'll be final.
it'll be a date, I think, will be the key thing. RFP with a date on it, right? So if it's ever revised in the future or reissued, then we would have to give it a rev number or a new date or something.
Okay, so is
I
that
think.
something you want to have Rajon do as he's finalizing it?
Yes, if he's
Okay.
happy to do that, right?
Yeah.
We add the seal, like you say. I only brought that up because about the footer, because I was annoyed when I was looking at the town zoning bylaw and
Oh.
realized that we lost the footers on that told you what it was.
Oh, okay.
I let Alec know. He's aware of it. He said it's going to be fixed next time. So anyway, but I sympathize with Brian. Our eyes are glazing over with this
Yeah,
thing.
it's a tough one.
So my only caveat is that I don't know when, given that we have to talk to him, make sure he gets all this done and gets it issued, and we have town meeting in the way, whether we can really make this little proposed schedule that we have listed here. And all we can do is try to tag it off of when the date of issue is and then count out the appropriate number of days. Now, my concern is if it changes it a lot, then maybe those dates won't work for you folks who have agreed to the pro forma schedule that we put in there. So I don't know what to do about that. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, it's up to the town to make that call, right? I mean, whatever it is.
Huh?
I mean, it's up to Rajon, right? When they release it. I mean, whenever they release
Right.
it, that'll be that. We'll just
Yeah,
have
but I'm
to-
just saying if it releases
it.
later enough and it screws up everyone's vacation plans for the summer or something, then
Oh, yeah,
you
I
ought to
don't
have
know.
a chance to chime in on that.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay. So there is this one edit here, which is a good catch. Brian's asked a question about contingent. It's this paragraph here, which talks about the award of the contract is to the successful proposer is contingent upon appropriation of sufficient funds. Do we have to say contingent? I think no, because we have the funds, right? So this is one thing that got called out that I thought maybe we should discuss, which is deleting the sentence, right? How does that work?
I'm not sure. I believe that this is like a legal boilerplate to protect the town in the case somehow the money's not available. But we've tried to say it very clearly in here that the money has already been appropriated for phase one. So we're trying to say two things. One is, yes, it's contingent, but we've covered that contingency because it's already appropriated. That comes from the council, that contingency stuff. If we don't have to say it, we'll take it out.
Okay, good. Because it is a little it'll be the first question everyone asks.
Yeah, I know. Brian pointed out the same thing. So
yeah. Okay.
In other words, one of the things that has to happen before he's sending out an RFP, the town accountant has to sign off saying there is sufficient.
That is poison for that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the way the town operates.
Well, is it release of appropriated funds? I mean, we've already appropriated it, right?
We have appropriated it. The
Right. So contingent upon release of appropriated funds. Something. I mean, can we ask them what we can do?
I don't know. I'll ask Mike
Hopefully.
on that.
I don't want to say that if we don't have to.
The funds are in an article. It's already approved. It's up to us to spend it. But the lawyers always want you to say stuff like this.
Yeah. Okay.
But are we saying that we're giving them a 50K number in here?
No, that's the money that we have up to that to spend.
Right.
So
if they come back and they say, "Well, we'll do that," we want 60K.
Oh,
no,
right.
We have to negotiate the final scope and price.
Yeah.
They will give their price proposal, and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah,
they might all come in way too high.
I think the statement is still fair that the award of the contract is to the successful proposal is contingent upon appropriation of sufficient funds. So if they say, well, we want, you know, we're not going to get involved with this less than 60,000, then it's like, oh, okay. So, you know, so that situation could occur. It may not, but it could. So I think it's a safe statement to have in there. Nobody's really gonna.
Okay.
We tried to weasel word that in here by saying that the town has appropriated sufficient funds to cover phase 1. Now, if somebody in their proposal thinks that it's going to cost 75K to do phase 1, then they may or may not bite. And if they bite with a high number, we have to negotiate. That's the way I look at it.
Okay.
And I didn't want to say exactly what money's available.
No, I'm not saying that.
We
that-
never
that
told
you
them
did say that, but-
50,000.
Is that making sense? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I can see how it could be okay. And maybe if you know, you can discuss it. Ray John will
Yeah,
discuss
I mean,
it on the
Janet, you
pre-bid
and
meeting.
Brian, you guys have experience in this matter of responding to proposals, and as Brian says, it's really can turn someone off when they see that kind of language.
Again, like Dave's saying, maybe this is pretty standard stuff, right? It's not that big a deal. And they'll ask
hopefully,
us,
if somebody
do you have the
has
money or
heartburn-
not? That'll be the first question in the pre-bid conference. Do you have the money?
Yeah, right.
And then the
Hopefully
second question will be, how much money do you have?
hopefully they'll come to the pre-bid conference and they can ask that question and we can smooth their feathers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just,
Are we gonna tell them at the pre-bid that we have 50,000?
I'm sorry, what? I don't think we should reveal what we have for a budget. What do you think?
Are we gonna tell them at the pre-bid?
The number, or I was saying, well, we've said here we have enough to cover phase 1.
Did we ever put that in the meeting minutes or anything that they would have access to?
Do we have what?
Just did.
Did we ever say that in meeting minutes?
just
Well,
did.
they can look
We
at those
did.
our videos and see everything, right?
Right, so it's not a secret.
Good point.
But you can't you can't discuss these things in an executive session to keep it all secret. That's not cricket. So
Mhm.
okay. And then you'll also talk to Rajan about this question of specifications versus project description.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So nothing more to do on this other than, I guess, to vote to have you guys handle it with Rajan.
Yeah, put it in our hands to see if we can get it across the finish line.
Yep.
I think we're all anxious to see this in the rearview mirror.
Well, Dave, you offered to sit down with Rajan as well.
That's right. And when that meeting happens, I'll be happy to be there as well.
Good, great.
So, so I would make a motion that they approve this in its current form to go forward for a meeting with Rajan and where the final edits would be done.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, let's take a roll call vote. Janet?
I'm sorry, let me understand. So we're not touching this document at all. It goes just out the way you sent it to the committee, to Rajan.
Well, the vote would allow us to clean up all the details per the comments and the list that we have with Rajan, finalize it and get it out.
That's what I mean. There's no additional work by the committee to this document. It goes as it is with the blue text and comments
Well,
embedded in the running text.
Well, taking out the running comments, yeah, that stuff, but right.
Okay, that's fine. Yes,
You said aye?
yeah, I'm voting. How you? Yeah.
Okay, Stephen,
Aye.
Brian Lynch,
Aye,
Dave McKiernan,
Aye.
Brian Clemens. Brian, are you muted?
Aye.
John Markovich
Aye.
and Fox says aye. Okay, thanks very much. How long have we been working on this thing?
too long.
It's just the beginning.
So,
It's
is this document in Janet, where did this come from? Is this out on the share?
No.
Ryan emailed it to us, didn't he?
I emailed it to you all.
Okay,
Right.
I just want to make sure that this document that we're looking at now is the one that
Yeah.
that goes to Rajon. I wanted to,
Yeah. I haven't sent it to him yet, and Janet would like to know when I do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to Rajon and say, Rajon, I think we'll take pity on Brian and say, Dave and I will come and talk to you about cleaning this up and finalizing it.
yep, that's fine. And we'll set up enough time to just work our way through, change the blues to
Yeah.
to blacks, answer the questions, and
Right.
Get it and
Right.
get it out the door.
Right. And I know he's gonna have not much time to spend on this between now and somewhere in the middle of town meeting, so.
Yeah.
All right.
It might be after, town meeting. We don't.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see, it's 9:50, guys. There's no updates from me on correspondence or anything. We might want to spend decent time talking about our updates with Acton and Littleton Water and roadway and parking lot salting topic. Leave that for maybe a whole nother time, unless you really want to run late tonight.
Hmm.
No, thank you.
I make a motion, we pass over those items until next.
I just wanted to comment, I did hear back that the planning board is not intending to submit a letter to MIPA on the Littleton Water Department EIR.
Oh, you heard from them on that?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we were going to do our thing regardless, so. But
That's
thanks
right,
for
but
letting me-
that was a question on the table. And then we have the
Right,
answer.
right. Thanks. Okie dokie. Well then, I guess unless anyone wants to give a quick update from Planning Board or Conscom or Board of Health. Are there any reports?
Nothing really new from Conscom.
All right, good. Well, it's another late night, but we got to a good point. Let's entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That was John, I think.
Yep.
Then I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, I'll take a vote. Brian Clemens,
Aye.
Stephen Schmidt,
Aye.
Brian Lynch,
Aye.
Dave McKiernan,
Aye.
Janet Keating Connolly,
Aye.
and John Markovich,
Aye.
and less votes to adjourn too. Let me stop the recording.